Ordinary inputs lead to ordinary outcomes. And I'm currently in Greece, walking on my way to the beach to finish watching this beautiful sunrise, take a little swim. And I want to make this video for you today to explain exactly how I got here and why that sentence at the start, ordinary inputs lead to ordinary outcomes, is so true right now. To give you a bit of a backstory, my name's Sol. I have a consulting company. We just did our record month last month, which was 6 figures take home, and I wanted to make this video because it wasn't easy. Like, I say that very simply, but I mean that when I say, when I started this whole thing, not a single person believed in me. And I promise you this is gonna all make sense when I give this context, but not a single person believed in me. No one believed when I sat at the pub and said, when I make 100k a month. No one believed when I said I was going to quit my well-paying corporate job and I was going to go into this online business world, try and get this life where I could work when I want, with who I want, on what I want, and wherever I want. No one believed that could happen. Why would someone who has a corporate job, who has never done anything on online business or anything entrepreneurial really before, ever have the ability to do that? And you're probably in that situation right now where you're surrounded by a lot of people that doubt you. And this is going to be a motivational video for you. So I appreciate you watching along. But the thing you have to understand is, if you want the life of the people around you, and let's be honest, most of the people that are around you right now are not living the life they want. Probably, almost definitely, they're all people who are working 9 to 5s. They're probably all people who get up on a Monday fearing the idea of going to work. And they're probably people who, feel a sense of, they're stable, but do they feel like truly fulfilled? Do they truly love every single day that they go to work? Sorry, I'm having to keep my voice down because people are sleeping. Do they, like, other people around you like that? Because that was the people around me. They were, again, some of my good friends, but they weren't living the life that I wanted. And then what would happen is I'd tell them about my dreams, what I wanted to build, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to have as my life, and they'd all tell me it was impossible. They would all tell me, wow, you just need to take a break. You just need to relax. Like, why are you working on Saturdays and Sundays? Come out to the pub with us. And they'd all say that stuff. But what I realized, and it only really hit me now as I'm making my way to the beach in Greece, is that if you listen to the people whose life you wouldn't trade, or if you listen to people whose life you don't want for yourself, if you take their advice, then the only logical thing that can happen is you get their life, because they have made those decisions. They have those inputs that cause the output that is their life. They have their life, and that is a combination of all their decisions. So if you ask for their opinion on things, they're going to give you the opinion that leads to their life. And that's fine if you want their life. If you want exactly what the person telling you to do is telling you, then do exactly what they say. But I realized that my little circle, the people around me, they were all people whose life I didn't want. They're all good friends, but I didn't want how they didn't look forward to their jobs. I didn't want how they could only afford to go on a few holidays a year. I didn't want the fact that they couldn't go to the beach at whatever time in the morning it is, like 6:30 in the morning here in Rhodes, Greece, on I don't even know what day of the week it is. Like, I didn't want that, right? And so I didn't listen to their advice. And I realized that everything they were telling me was stuff that I needed to just ignore. In fact, quite literally, a lot of the things they told me, I just did the absolute opposite, because the life that they had built for themselves was not the one that I wanted. And the point here is very clear. Let me just take my stuff off. I'll keep my shorts. So don't worry. But the thing about that is if you listen to those people, and you probably have those people in your ear the whole time telling you, do this, do that, don't do that, don't do that. If you listen to those people, you are just going to end up like them. And that is almost the first point to make, because you need to be careful of who you're listening to. You need to be careful with the inputs, the opinions that you're letting into your head. My arm is hurting so much. Maybe that'll be better. I don't know if you can see me or not. But maybe you, and that is one thing I'd say. So be careful of who your like quote unquote advisors are, because your advisors are the ones that are via kind of telepathy, whatever the word is, putting thoughts into your heads. And I feel this, you know, you probably have this as well. If you're around a load of big drinkers, you're probably going to be drinking a lot. If you're around a load of people who work very hard and gym very hard, you're probably going to do the same. So you need to be careful of who you choose to be around and who you choose to take advice from. But the second thing which ordinary inputs lead to ordinary outcomes is a lot of people talk about this concept of balance. And I want to look at you directly in the eye right now and say, fuck balance. Because the problem with balance is what, again, people who believe that they want an ordinary life. They want the life that the majority have, working for someone else, the 9 to 5, that is the ordinary life, right? In Western civilization, that is the ordinary life, the average life. You work for someone else, you make your way up the rankings, to partner, or even less than that to manager, and then you retire, right? That is the ordinary outcome. And the thing about that is those outcomes need ordinary inputs. We both know that you don't need to work that hard in a corporate job. You don't need to work that hard in, 9 to 5 working. But if you want an ordinary life, then you have to be, or if you want to put in ordinary input, if you want to have balance, then you have to be prepared for an ordinary life. And I want to be very clear. The reason I am right now background flexing, talking about 100K in a month, is because I worked so hard, like almost to the point where, or to the point with multiple burnouts. I worked so incredibly hard for at least a year and a half. I didn't take a day off for a year and a half, posting videos, working weekends, locking myself in co-working rooms. And that was all to get to this point where now I'm very fortunate to have the ability to have leverage and be able to chill in Greece, not work so hard, and still do a record month because I put in the hard yards at the start. I put in extraordinary inputs. And that's not me being like, I was fucking incredible working so hard. I just was. Like, I will just say to you right now, I worked incredibly hard to the point where most people around me were confused as to how hard I was working. And by the way, going back to that first point, every single person was telling me, trust me, every single person was telling me, you're working too hard. You need to leave the co-workings at the weekend and come out to the pub. And I didn't listen to all of them. And now most of them are waking up for a 9 to 5 right now, working for someone else. And I'm very fortunate to be here. So the reason I say all that is because I want you to know that if you want the life that you see on Instagram, if you want the life that you see people like myself showing, then what you don't see is the extraordinary inputs that are needed to get there. And I don't ever want you, as someone who's watching my channel, as someone who's engaging in my page, to ever think that anything is needed other than extraordinary grind and extraordinary outputs. But with those extraordinary outputs, with those relentless work hours, you can build a beautiful life for yourself. And on that note, I'm gonna go and be present, enjoy the sunrise, and I'll see you around.